a second.
Dr. Michio Kaku.
Michio Kaku.
Hello.
Hi. How are you, sir? We saw you on TV last night talking about the oil spill, and we certainly wanted to get your take on our show as well, considering you're a friend of the show.
Yes, now, using a nuclear device, how viable is this?
It's not a good suggestion at all. First of all, it'll make the area radioactive. It'll release radioactive iodine, cesium, strontium, which will contaminate the area for decades, if not centuries, depending upon, the flow of ocean currents. And during hurricane season, you can imagine that tar balls will be shot into the air that are radioactive.
Radioactive tar.
Yeah, can you imagine radioactive tar balls winding up in people's swimming pools?
It sounds like a horror movie, Dr. Kaku.
It sure does. Now, with these hurricanes, we're going to have tar balls flying around?
Hurricanes will actually grab water several hundred feet below the surface and waft it up into the sky. If a hurricane comes into the Gulf from the western direction, they spin counterclockwise. So if it's west of the oil leak, the counterclockwise motion will then take this water laden with oil, loft it into the air, and dump it all over the south.
Wow, how far inland could that actually take tar and oil?
Oh, potentially hundreds of miles inland.
Hundreds of miles. So people on the coast that are worrying and people inland that are saying we have nothing to worry about might actually have something to worry about.
That's right. They could have radioactive oil raining down on their hair, on their barbecue pits, on their rooftops. It's gonna be a mess. Think about the lawsuits coming out of this thing.
Dr. Michio Kaku, what do you think about this whole thing? Now, I know we've heard your point on this 2012 end of the world kind of thing. We're seeing a lot of man-made and natural disasters happening lately. I know you're a man of science, but spiritually, how are you feeling about this?
Well, look at Mother Earth, okay? She rocks the planet almost like every month with a gigantic magnitude 7, even magnitude 8 earthquake, but they happen underwater. They happen away from the television cameras. So Mother Earth gets rocked all the time, but we never really notice these things. Only when we get rocked. So we are so arrogant. We're so arrogant that we think that when our little domain is rocked, then it means, oh my God, Chicken Little. We think that the whole world is falling apart.
Dr. Kaku,
great point.
Another thing I want to ask that I've been very curious about, how come a natural disaster has never caused a fissure in the earth that has leaked oil into the ocean?
Well, they have. I mean, in the sense that we've had blowouts like this before, but they usually happen at 200 feet.
I mean, like an earthquake. Let's say an earthquake happened, and a couple of plates move and lets out some oil from a deposit that maybe hasn't even been drilled, and all of a sudden you're seeing oil spurting up into the Gulf or anywhere else where there might have been this earthquake. How come that's never happened? We haven't seen that.
The reason is the deposits of oil are actually pretty rare. You don't find them everywhere at all. Only a tiny, tiny fraction of the Earth's surface actually has large deposits of, commercially viable oil. And if you then superimpose upon that the fault lines, you find that the fault lines and the oil deposits usually don't match. So we're in a situation where we think there's oil everywhere, but actually if you're a shale oil engineer, you know that it's only a tiny fraction of the Earth's surface has large oil deposits, and they happen not to be where there's lots of seismic activity. Thank goodness. Otherwise, we would have this.
Yes, that would be oil all over the place.
You forgot to ask about the fire cane. What's the possibility? You get a hurricane, it scoops up the oil, then you get a little, lightning strike, and next thing you know, you got a hurricane that's on fire. Is this possible?
Well, a little bit unlikely in the sense that the oil is an oil-water mixture called an emulsion. Some people think that, oil separates from water, in which case you should be able to burn off the oil. Well, that's partially true. But how can we have so many plumes of water going down 22 miles that are 22 miles long? Why is that? because water and oil do mix sometimes, creating what is called an emulsion. Look at mayonnaise. Look at lotions. Look at your kitchen.
This fucking guy is smart as shit. Fuck! You motherfucker! Man, go on Jeopardy, nigga. What you doing?
Patrice,
Jesus Christ!
This is Dr. Michio Kaku.
He's a physicist.
Oh,
Fucking guy is phenomenal.
Dr. Kaku, I want to apologize for Patrice O'Neal's language.
Yes,
it gets a little
This shit's
salty.
prodigious as hell, motherfucker.
It gets a little salty with his language.
He's a comedian. We don't really know much about him. He's playing in the area. He came in to do a set, and I didn't know he was going to use that language,
yes,
sir.
You've really impressed him, and that's how he shows his that he is indeed impressed with you. We apologize for the language.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, sir. Please, sorry.
So it is an
emulsion like mayonnaise. All right.
That will not just burn randomly with maybe a lightning strike.
That's right.